Part 4 of the Running Fundamentals series, we're going to cover strength training. Now, strength training is one of those things that people completely put off because, I don't want to do it, it's not that important. But it matters. Let me tell you that it matters because running is a full body endeavor. Running is not just how I move, hit my feet with the ground, how my hands move, how my running form goes. Running is being able to absorb force with your body, rotate and control and navigate your spine as you're rotating and moving. And if I don't have mobility, which means I don't have strength across range of motion, I do not have the ability to run effectively. That is where strength training comes in. Does this mean you have to be a power lifter? You have to be big and bulky? You have to put in a lot of muscle? No. But it does mean you need to have strength relative to your body. This is called relative strength. Now, this is going to look at things like, can I do push-ups? Can I do squats? Can I do lunges? Can I do hip hinging? Can I jump? Can I sprint? These are all forms of strength training. So we're going to break this conversation up into 2 parts. First, understand that running is a form of training in and of itself. That's what I love about barefoot running. And I want you to think about barefoot running as not just some fringe thing that you should go and do because you're going to be in touch with Mother Earth, although that is a whole side of things you can get down if you want to go the woo-woo path. But running is a form of practicing the load of hitting my body with multiple times gravity's acceleration force into the ground, absorbing it, pushing it back off. So if I can work on sprinting and striding and hitting and jumping and even just jump roping, bouncing, single leg bounding, single leg jumping, some of the drills we cover in the running drill portion of this, those are going to be excellent. Just even doing barefoot strides, I hit the ground and I drive to the ground and push off. That is a form of strength training. If all of your running is in one straight line on a treadmill and I'm just going to get my heart rate and get my zone 2 cardio, that's not sufficient. You need something that's going to challenge your body, work against gravity, and load your body explosively. This is why plyometrics are so important. We're going to come back to that in a way to build up to plyometrics. Now, when you think about your running training through the week, you want to have some type of hill work, some type of intervals, some type of sprint work, some type of long steady distance. Getting better at just doing the same boring, I'm going to go this pace and doing it for longer and longer times, it's not sufficient to be a great runner. And sure, if you want to go and do that, you can grind a little bit more and get a little bit better, but you're going to see incremental process. If you focus on getting a stronger foundation, getting the best running form you have and overloading that with speed work and being explosive in plyometrics, you're going to build a foundation that lets you scale up the sprint, change directions, to play sports, to run, and to just be as dominant of an athlete as you want. It's more than just going and being able to do a cardio output. Now, outside of that, it's really important to have some form of strength training that uses outside resistance, so that's weights. The reason for that is because we want to have a healthy range of motion that prevents any type of injury in the case of a slip or a fall. Or if I want to open up my stride, I want to have more range of motion when I sprint, I want to play a game, I just want to be able to squat down and play with kids if you're older. These things are essential. Now, if I look at flexibility, flexibility is the ability to have a range of motion. Mobility is the ability to have strength within that. I want stability within a range of motion. So this is where you get the dichotomy of flexibility and stability. Stability without any type of flexibility is stiffness, meaning like I'm really stable here, but I can't move my shoulder. And flexibility without strength is laxity, meaning I can move all the way around, but I'm a noodle, and I have no ability to create stability and stiffness in my joints. That's why we want mobility. And the reason that we need resistance is because we need consequence on the range of motion. If I just go and do this, there's no consequence. Outside of just moving my hand, gravity is not pulling me down sufficiently to cause my muscles and bones to have to interact. I have to move fast, explosively, or add weight to get consequence to the movement. If I do not have consequence to the movement, I do not learn. If a kid doesn't have punishment for breaking the rules, they don't learn, they don't care. So this is the part of your body is not unlike training a dog or an animal or a kid. You have to put consequence on things. And it's not so much you can't generate the force without that, it's just the easiest way for your body to visualize, I need to have this. Now, what that looks like is functional. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to do heavy loaded bilateral back squats. You can do single leg work, you can do split stance work, you can do optimal foot placement where you're creating a bow and rotational torque. There's a lot of movements you can do, but the most important part is you understand you have to do it. You do have to do it. Doing single leg bounding. We'll talk about the plyometrics because it's a great way to work on that stuff, but when you get in the gym, doing things like single leg RDLs, lunges, RDLs, hip hinges, squats, goblet squats, pull-ups, push-ups, overhead press, the basic movements. It does not have to be that complex, but it does need to be something. So focus on this stuff. If you're not sure where to go, find a professional. Find a coach who can put together a process and teach you how to do this stuff. It's a foundation, it's an investment in your body and your health for the long term that is so worthwhile. Learn how to lift once, you'll have a healthy body for life. To finish this, how many times a week should you strength train? If you have not done it ever before, twice a week is going to be great. If you're trying to be the best you can be and really be a competitive runner, 3 times a week is going to be optimal in your off season, and then dropping down to 2 at one time for maintenance when you're in the peak of your season is going to be great. But if you're just doing for general fitness, 2 to 3 times a week is going to be a great place to settle. If you are having some type of movement every day, it's going to be golden. But having some form of speed work and barefoot running and striding 1 to 2 times a week, in combination with 2 to 3 times a week of strength training, in combination with 3 to 4 days of running either slow, steady, or doing a long walk, doing some type of threshold anaerobic work, that's a full plan right there. And you can even cut all that, do it in half just to get something moving. But having those components in, some type of plyometric explosive barefoot work for the strength of your feet, mixed with loaded resistance for the upper body, the full body, the hips, the legs, some type of resistant loaded weight training, mixed with some form of longer, steady distance anaerobic work for the cardiovascular capacity, that's all you need. Next, we'll talk about how this stuff all comes together in part 5, talking about spinal engine theory. We're going to get to the actual nuts and bolts of running form and how you can start to put this stuff into action.